The UFC is going back to Paris this weekend for UFC Fight Night Moicano versus Saint Denis. And I'm going to go through and break down every single fight on the card. As always, timestamps are in the description if you want to skip to any particular fight. But we're going to start with the very first fight on the card, which is Bolaji Oki versus Chris Duncan. Honestly, both of these guys have a lot to prove still in the UFC. Bolaji Oki has one fight in the UFC, and it was a split decision win over Timmy Kawamba, who took it on short notice. Chris Duncan, he's never looked particularly impressive in any of his fights, coming off a loss to Manuel Torres, who is a good fighter. He's decent enough. It's not the worst loss in the world, but Chris Duncan just Chris Duncan and Bolaji Oki really neither have proved anything or proved much of anything in the UFC so far. But I'm gonna go with Bolaji Oki. I think the difference is gonna be technique. One, I think Bolaji Oki has a really good jab. Quick. He's very technical. I think he's more technical on the feet than Chris Duncan. Really good jab, really good straight punches. Chris Duncan, I also think, and this is another key factor for why I'm going Bolaji Oki, I think Bolaji Oki is going to be way quicker than Chris Duncan. Chris Duncan's pretty slow. Bolaji Oki's pretty quick. Chris Duncan, he's too slow, I think. I think Bolaji Oki, I don't see a lot of finishing potential with him. And Chris Duncan is pretty durable. He's a hard guy to put away. He'll get dropped or he'll get rocked, but he always recovers. He has pretty good recovery. But I think Bolaji Oki, again, I think he's just going to be too quick. And I think he's just going to touch up Chris Duncan for 3 rounds. So I'm going to go Bolaji Oki. But yeah, I think Bolaji Oki is going to be a little too quick for Chris Duncan. I think Chris Duncan is just too plotty, too slow to keep up with Bolaji Oki. So I'm going to go Bolaji Oki, getting this one done by a decision. Moving up, Nora Cornolle versus Jacqueline Cavalcanti. This is tough. They're both, I don't know. I feel like they're pretty even. They fought before, I want to say. I want to say this is a rematch. I'm going to check right now. But I am pretty sure they fought before. Have they not fought before? Am I making this up? No, they did fight before. 2021, Jacqueline Cavalcanti beat Nora Cornolle by decision. I'm going to go Nora Cornolle in this one, though. But they are both pretty even. Like, this is a tough fight to call. However, I think the deciding factor for me is short notice. I think that's what this is going to come down to. Short notice, step in. Jacqueline Cavalcanti is stepping in to take this fight on short notice. I think that's going to decide it. But that, I don't know, man. This really could go either way. I'm going to lean towards Nora Cornolle. Like I said, just because Cavalcanti is taking it on short notice. But because she's taking it on short notice, that could mean that she's well prepared and she likes the matchup. I don't think she would just take the fight on short notice if she didn't think she could win. Obviously, I'm kind of just talking nonsense. But I'm going to go Nora Cornolle. I think she's going to get it done over Cavalcanti. I'm going to trust in the French fighter there. Daniel Barez versus Victor Altamirano. Daniel Barez is a favorite. Or no, Daniel Barez is an underdog. Okay. Well, that's unfortunate. Because I thought Victor Altamirano was going to be an underdog. Because I'm going to pick him. I'm going to go Victor Altamirano. Victor Altamirano, he doesn't have a great record. 12-4 is not bad. And his losses are to, very good levels of competition. We're talking about a split decision loss to Felipe Dos Santos, decision loss to Tim Elliott, where he had some success in that fight. Split decision to Carlos Hernandez. Don't really like Carlos Hernandez, but it's whatever. Daniel Barez, he's coming off a loss to Jafel Filio. I think the difference is Victor Altamirano level of competition, right? He's losing to Felipe Dos Santos, who's very talented. He's UFC level. Tim Elliott, UFC level. Vinicius Salvador, it's maybe not so much. Daniel Lacerda, whatever. Carlos Hernandez, whatever. But he's fighting UFC caliber opponents, like fighters that are in the UFC. Daniel Barez, he's kind of a can crusher. The guy gets wins against NPCs. I'm just going to say how it is. He's beating NPC bots in regional promotions. And he also has a loss to Carlos Hernandez, also by split decision. So, cool. But, yeah, Carlos Hernandez, loss. Jafel Filho, loss. When he's fighting UFC competition, he doesn't look the best. So, I think Victor Altamirano is going to outstrike Daniel Barez. Daniel Barez could take Altamirano down and maybe smudge him on the canvas for 15 minutes. That's a possibility. He does have pretty good entries on takedowns. But I'm going to go with Victor Altamirano. I think his experience level is going to help him beat a guy like Daniel Barez. Like, I think when you're in there with the cage with Felipe Dos Santos and Tim Elliott, like borderline top 15 and like top 10 guys and Tim Elliott, and then you're fighting a guy like Daniel Barez, it's a big step down. And I think the experience against good guys like that is going to help Victor Altamirano get it done over a guy like Daniel Barez, who only really fights cans. So I'm going to go Victor Altamirano. I'm going to say decision for Altamirano. Moving up, Daria Zhelezniakova versus Ailin Perez. Yeah, I'm going to go Ailin Perez. I think, Daria Zhelezniakova, she can strike. She's a pretty good striker. Ailin Perez, however, could grapple. And I think I'm done betting on a striker beating a grappler at this point. The way the UFC is going, wrestling is taking over. It's easier to wrestle to a win than it is to strike to a win with the way judges score fights. So I'm going to say Ailin Perez wins this fight with her takedowns. She has good takedowns. She's very strong for the division. Daria Zhelezniakova, she's pretty frail. She looks frail. Ailin Perez is very built. So I'm going to say she uses her wrestling and gets it done. Again, I think if you're picking Daria Zhelezniakova, who is good and can strike, you're counting on her stuffing takedowns all fight and outstriking her. But, it's hard to do that when you're defending takedowns. So I'm going to go Ailin Perez by decision over Daria Zhelezniakova. In that one, Taylor Lapilus versus Vince Morales. Vince Morales isn't that bad, but I'm going to go Taylor Lapilus. I think Vince Morales on his previous run in the UFC, he didn't look the best, but, the names he's losing to aren't bad, like a loss of Song Yadong, Benito Lopez, I don't like that. Chris Gutierrez, it's whatever. Jonathan Martinez, Miles Johns. These are decent names. But since then, he's been on a pretty good run outside of the UFC. Five-fight win streak, and now he's fighting Taylor Lapilus. But I think this is a bad matchup to come back to. I think Taylor Lapilus is pretty good. He's very technical, really good kicks, really good body kicks. I think he's just going to be a little too tricky for Vince Morales. I think I don't know, man. We've never really seen Vince Morales get some super impressive wins. Yuki Matoya is a pretty good win in Ryzen. Hunter Azur, that's a decent win. But, again, I think it's just level of competition type thing. Taylor Lapilus has been in there with some really good fighters. Cody Stamen most recently lost to Javed Basharat. Or is it Farid Basharat? I don't know. He lost to one of the Basharats. I think it was Javed. No, it was Farid. Calvin Loughran, kind of whatever. Oh, man. I'm starting to rethink it. But I'm going to trust Taylor Lapilus. His footwork's going to be a little too good. and Vince Morales is going to have trouble tracking him down. I could see that happening. I'm going to go Taylor Lapilus. I'm going to go another decision. I got a lot of decisions. I don't think I have a single finish so far. Oh, well. Here's a finish. Ludovit Klein versus Roosevelt Roberts. This is a no-brainer. You got to go Ludovit Klein. You got to go Ludovit Klein. Now, can Roosevelt Roberts get a miraculous KO over Ludovit Klein? You know, somehow chinning him. Also, look at the tan on Ludovit Klein. Look at this body compared to his face. I don't know what's going on there. Anyway, can Roosevelt Roberts get a miraculous KO or a submission out of nowhere, something like that? Of course, it's a cage fight at the end of the day. Anything can happen. But logically speaking, if you're going with logic, you have to pick Ludovit Klein. He just beat Thiago Moises, who was infinitely better than Roosevelt Roberts in every aspect of the game. And Roosevelt Roberts is in on short notice. So, you know, it's just tough for Roosevelt Roberts. He seems like a nice guy, but Ludovit Klein, his striking is too good. I love Ludovit Klein. He's one of the most underrated fighters in the UFC, in my opinion. Ludovit Klein is so good. So good with his striking. His takedown defense in his last fight against Thiago Moises looked incredible. Some really, really good sprawls. Man, Ludovit Klein looks so good. I was ready for a Ludovit Klein top 15 opponent, or maybe borderline top 15. But it's Roosevelt Roberts, and he's a minus 800 favorite for a reason. Now, Roosevelt Roberts is really tall. He's a 6'2 lightweight. And maybe that could give Ludovit Klein some trouble. But he only has half an inch of reach on Ludovit Klein. So, it's hard to pick Roosevelt Roberts. I think Ludovit Klein has incredible takedown defense, incredible striking, very powerful. He dropped Thiago Moises multiple times. I think he gets a finish on Roosevelt Roberts. I'm going to say Ludovit Klein gets it done in one. Ludovit Klein round 1 KO over Roosevelt Roberts, who steps in on short notice. Oumar Sy versus Woon Jung. Now, Woon Jung. Sorry. He is a guy that's kind of over the hill, right? But he's got a lot of KOs. He's a powerful striker, and I think that's kind of why they set him up against Oumar Sy. It's a good win for your resume. Like, that looks good. You look at Woon Jung. He's 15-5 with 15 of his wins coming by, 11 of his 15 wins coming by KO. 3-loss streak, losing to Carlos Ulberg, Devin Clark, and Dustin Jacoby. Beat Kennedy Nzechukwu, beat William Knight. Had a draw with Sam Alvey. This is 2020 though, so it's a little different, but still, not really actually. But other than that, he's got a lot of KOs. That looks good on your resume. You go out there and beat a guy that's he's got some good highlights. He's got a good highlight tape. And then you give the prospect Oumar Sy, Woon Jung. So, he finished this killer with a bunch of KOs, But he's over the hill at this point. 3 losses in a row. And, fraud check potential, but I don't think so. I think Oumar Sy's got this one in the bag. I think he's too good. Really good grappling, pretty good striking. I think he gets it done through the grappling. I'm going to say he gets Woon Jung down and chokes him out in round 1. Back-to-back round 1 finishes. I'm going to go Oumar Sy round 1 rear naked choke. Round 1 rear naked choke for Oumar Sy over Woon Jung. That's going to be my pick. Ivan Cutelaba versus Ivan Erslan. No odds. However, I looked on Tapology, and I believe Cutelaba is a favorite. As of a couple days ago, he was a favorite. I'm going to check right now and see if that's changed. And no, Cutelaba is still a favorite. And I was like, okay, Cutelaba has no chin. He's a bit over the hill. He's only 30, but he's over the hill, which is crazy to say. But I was like, okay, why is Cutelaba a favorite? What is it about Ivan Erslan that has him as an underdog against Iwan Cutelaba? And if you go back and watch Ivan Erslan's fights, you will quickly find out he cannot defend takedowns. So Cutelaba has good takedowns. He has good entries. He's pretty explosive, and he is a good grappler, and he has really good finishing instincts when he gets you on the ground. I hiccuped. I'll edit that out. Ivan Erslan can't grapple. He can't defend takedowns, so I think that's where these odds come from. But if this fight's on the feet, I think Erslan is probably going to KO Cutelaba. But again, like I said, I'm done picking strikers to beat grapplers. It's way easier to win a fight by grappling than it is to find a KO shot. So I'm going to say Cutelaba exploits the takedown defense of Ivan Erslan and smudges him, maybe gets a KO from ground and pound or finds a submission or something along those lines. I'm going to say Iwan Cutelaba gets a round 3 TKO to ground and pound over Ivan Erslan, who is making his UFC debut. Iwan Cutelaba, round 3 TKO. That's my pick. Ziam versus Matt Frevola. Matt Frevola, currently underdog. Ziam, favorite. I'm actually going to go Matt Frevola. Matt Frevola, he's getting up there in age. He's 34. Ziam is only 27, and he is French. I feel like I'm picking... No, I'm not. I was going to say I feel like I'm picking against a lot of the French people, but not really. This might actually be the first French person I've picked against. I think it is. I don't know. But yeah, I'm going to go Matt Frevola. Ziam, he is a guy that has very little finishing potential. He has no finishes in the UFC. I don't think he can finish you. That's just how I see it. I don't think Matt Frevola has to worry about being finished. Now, both of these guys lost to Terrence McKinney, which is not good. It's not a good look. However, even though Matt Frevola got KO'd in like 7 seconds by Terrence McKinney, which is unbelievable, I like that loss more than I like Ziam's loss against Terrence McKinney, because at least Matt Frevola, it's like, all right, he caught me with a quick shot. He caught me lacking 5 seconds into the round, you know. I wasn't locked in, you know. He caught me with a 1-2 5 seconds in. I should have been more locked in. It's whatever. He got the KO. Ziam got dominated in the grappling and submitted in round 1 by Terrence McKinney. Terrence McKinney can grapple. He does have decent takedowns, but he's not a particularly like strong guy. He's not, you know, he's not smudging you into the canvas, but he was doing that to Ziam. He was unable to do anything about it. So I don't like the ground game of Ziam. I don't like the takedown defense of Ziam. He has no finishing potential, I think. Matt Frevola, powerful guy. He's got power in his hands. He's got good takedowns. He can wrestle. He can strike. He can do it all, and I think that is a problem for Ziam. He's got too much to worry about, and I feel like he has to go 15 minutes with Matt Frevola. Like I said, I don't think he gets a finish. And 15 minutes with Matt Frevola when you are not very good at defending takedowns is not good. I think if Matt Frevola gets him down, I'm not sure Ziam is going to be able to get back up. And if he does, I think it'll take him a while, you know. So I'm going to go Matt Frevola. I'm going to say he uses his wrestling and gets Ziam down a couple times. And then he has Ziam thinking about takedowns, worrying about stuffing takedowns, waiting for the next takedown to come. And maybe Matt Frevola catches him on the chin, puts him out. Or maybe he just subs Ziam or TKOs him with ground and pound or something like that. I'm actually going to go with Matt Frevola to get it done by... he has no subs in the UFC. I'm going to go Matt Frevola by decision. Maybe finish. I just have a feeling it's Matt Frevola. Oh no, I'm gonna go KO. I'm gonna say KO round 1 again. Round 1 KO for Matt Frevola. I think he gets it done. I think for Ziam he's got too much to worry about. So Matt Frevola is gonna be the pick. Morgan Charriere versus Gabriel Miranda. I am gonna go with Morgan Charriere. He's 19-10, which is like not a great record, but he's pretty good. He's pretty good. He had a split decision loss to Chepe Mariscal, which is a fight that he honestly could have won. Very close. Gabriel Miranda, he can be tricky. But I think the problem is Morgan Charriere is just... he's too good, I think. He's too good. Gabriel Miranda lost to Benoit Saint Denis by KO. No shame, it's whatever. And he subbed Shane Jung, who honestly isn't that good. Morgan Charriere, he looked good against Chepe Mariscal. He honestly could have gotten it done. I thought he got it done, if I'm being honest. He's really good in the striking. I'm going to say he puts Gabriel Miranda away. So I'm going to go Morgan Charriere to outstrike Gabriel Miranda and probably KO him. I'm going to say KO round 2 for Morgan Charriere over Gabriel Miranda, whatever. Kevin Jousset versus Bryan battle. Kevin Jousset is an underdog, which was really surprising to me because I thought he'd be a favorite over Bryan battle, but he's not. Now, Kevin Jousset is coming out of CKB, the Israel Adesanya camp. Adesanya's praised this guy. He's like, oh, this is the only guy that can outstrike me in sparring, this and that. But he also said that about Blood Diamond. So, you know, you can't really take anything Adesanya says about his teammates to heart. He loves lying for whatever reason. And, you know, I'm going to go Bryan battle. Bryan battle's good. He's good. He was looking really good against Angelusa before the eye poke. Subbed AJ Fletcher, KO'd Gabe Green, lost to Renat Fakhretdinov. It's whatever. Takashi Sato, KO. I think he's good, man. And Kevin Jousset, he's good himself. Maybe he can go out there and beat Bryan battle. But I think Bryan battle has the finishing potential that Kevin Jousset does not. Not finishing Song Kanan is crazy work. I think if you are like an elite striker like you say you are and like Adesanya says you are, I think you finish Song Kanan. And I think if you're not finishing Song Kanan, I don't think you finish Bryan battle. So I think finishing instinct and finishing potential is on the side of Bryan battle. And I could just see him landing the more damaging shots on Kevin Jousset, who couldn't mix it up with the grappling. If things get tricky on the feet, which I think they will, I could see Kevin Jousset shooting a takedown and trying to grapple with Bryan battle. But I think Bryan battle's got really good takedown defense, and I think he will keep this fight standing and outstrike Kevin Jousset. So I'm going to go Bryan battle by decision over Kevin Jousset. I'll say this one goes a distance. Bryan battle by decision. Feature fight on the card, William Gomis versus Joe Anderson Brito. William Gomis, I don't know why he's looking at me like that. Looks like he's plotting something mischievous or something. But I'm going to go Joe Anderson Brito. I think he's just too explosive. He's too powerful. William Gomis is kind of like a... I don't know. He strikes me as a guy that crumbles under pressure. Like if a guy like Joe Anderson Brito's putting pressure on him and he has him against the cage or he has him in the clinch and he's working him, I think William Gomis is a guy that would crumble under that kind of pressure and go down. That's just how I see it. William Gomis is pretty good technically. He's like technically sound. But I think this is just going to come down to power advantage on the side of Joe Anderson Brito. I think he's way more powerful. He's more explosive. William Gomis is going to be landing tappy shots while Joe Anderson Brito is landing bombs. Big power difference when they land. You'll see it. Brito will land and Gomis will get, pushed back and stumble and recover a little bit. Gomis will land and Brito will just, keep walking forward and pushing through it. I think power advantage on the side of Brito. I think he's going to land the more powerful shots. And I think he's going to make William Gomis crumble under the pressure. I think he's going to walk him down, get him against the cage, and just pour it on. Pour on relentless volume, huge, powerful, big bombs, powerful bombs on William Gomis. And I think William Gomis is going to crumble and break. So I'm going to go Joe Anderson Brito to get this one done by round 2 TKO over William Gomis. Nasruddin Imavov versus Brendan Allen in the co-main event. I was really back and forth because Nasruddin Imavov is very technically sound. He's a much more technically sound striker than Brendan Allen. He's got really good takedown defense. Powerful striker. But Brendan Allen, middleweight has proven that technique doesn't really mean anything. So that's why I was really considering going with Brendan Allen because, I could see him just trudging through Imavov's best shots and, getting Imavov down and holding him down for 3 rounds or something like that. But like I said, Imavov has good takedown defense. Man, and Brendan Allen isn't some guy who's going to shoot an explosive double leg and get you down. He doesn't have he has good takedown entries, but he's not great. He's not super explosive, but he can wrestle when he gets his hands on you. It can be bad. But Imavov, I think he's more athletic, better striker. Brendan Allen is quite chinny. I mean, Chris Curtis put him out cold, and Chris Curtis nearly put him out cold again. He's not got the best chin in the world. I could see Imavov finishing him, and honestly, that's probably going to be the pick. I'm going to go Imavov. I'm going to say round 2 KO for Imavov. Brendan Allen, I don't think he can strike with Imavov. I don't think he'll have any success with the wrestling. Again, Imavov is very hard to get down. So I'm going to go Imavov sniping him on the way in and finishing him off. So Imavov round 2 KO is going to be the pick. Main event, Renato Moicano versus Benoit Saint Denis. I don't know why Benoit Saint Denis looks like that. His face always blows my mind. He looks very interesting. Very weird facial expression. And I'll be the first one to tell you, I am not high on Benoit Saint Denis. I picked Dustin Poirier to beat him. I don't think he's that good. His best win is Matt Frevola, who isn't bad, but he's getting a fight with Dustin Poirier. A big step up. And I just don't think Benoit Saint Denis is some incredible protege that everyone makes him out to be. However, I do think he's going to beat Renato Moicano because I think, and a lot of people aren't going to like this, I think Renato Moicano is the worst ranked lightweight in the UFC. I think he is the worst fighter in the top 15 at lightweight. I know he beat Jalen Turner, but dude, I'm just going to say it. And again, you're not going to like to hear this, but I think it's facts. Jalen Turner wins that fight like 90 times out of 100, in my personal opinion. Again, I'm going to die on this hill, bro. If that fight wasn't at UFC 300 with a $300,000 bonus on the line, Jalen Turner doesn't go for a walk-off KO, and he finishes him in round 1. Like, I'm sorry. That's how it goes. And I think that's how it goes a majority of the time. Renato Moicano, yes, he has good BJJ. His chin is suspect. His takedowns aren't great. He is slow. He is quite plotty. Not a lot of his striking is not great. No power in his hands. I think Benoit Saint Denis is going to run through Renato Moicano. I think Benoit Saint Denis, he's a guy, we saw it against Poirier, and he did look good before he gassed. I'll give him that. He's going to walk you down and put constant pressure on you. You know, he will never take a backward step, even if it hurts him in the long run and he gets KO'd by Poirier. He will never take a backward step. He will constantly walk you down and throw bombs, get you in the clinch, throw bombs, take you down, look for a sub. He's constantly looking for the finish. And my word, Renato Moicano is there to be finished. Again, very suspect chin. And I think Benoit Saint Denis is much stronger. I think he could take down Renato Moicano and finish him with ground and pound or submit him. I think he could do whatever he wants to Renato Moicano. Again, a lot of people aren't going to like to hear it because they like Renato Moicano. He's good on the mic, whatever. I don't care about mic skills. I here for good fighters, so I don't really care. But, yeah, man, I don't know. Renato Moicano, I don't see it with him. He's also getting older. He's like 35. He's been around for a long time. I think Benoit Saint Denis gets it done with relative ease. I'm going to say round 1 KO. Marching him down, throwing bombs. Moicano's chin is not there. Maybe he catches Benoit Saint Denis overextending on a hook or something. Blasts a double leg, gets him down, and chokes him out. Maybe, but I think Benoit Saint Denis' grappling and BJJ is too good. I don't think he's just going to be easily submitted on the ground if Moicano gets him down. So, I don't know. I got to go Benoit Saint Denis. Too powerful, too explosive. And Moicano is easily finishable. So, Benoit Saint Denis round 1 KO is going to be the pick. And those are all my picks for UFC Fight Night Paris. Moicano versus Saint Denis. Let me know what you guys think. Who do you think is going to get it done in the main event? You rocking with Renato Moicano, or are you going to go with Benoit Saint Denis? Let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.